Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Man in the Middle. This is the show where mothers meet men in the middle to try to consist and construct, better futures for our sons. I'm your host, Ab Judah. Tonight, our moderator is Bianca. Bianca, if you care to introduce yourself, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes. Hey, everybody. And thank you so much, Ed, for opening up the floor to all of us tonight. My name is Bianca Victoria. I am a business capital strategist, a philanthropist, and I am a newfound sports mom to a 6-year-old boy. So I'm happy to be here.
Lovely, lovely. We got some veterans in the building. Chaz, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Yes. Peace, family. I'm Chaz DL. Chaz DL, creative director, audiobook author, entrepreneur, and and a good friend over here at AB. And it's a pleasure to be here and have these type of conversations because in this time it's much needed. Appreciate
All right,
you.
thank you very much. And we got Jessica.
Hey everyone, I'm Jess. I am a mom to a 10-year-old boy. I work for the federal government, so I am currently furloughed right now. So I'm loving these vibes, staying connected with everybody, because in this time right now we isolate. So I'm excited to be here and sharing this space with everybody.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Then we got a new gentleman to the room, our second ever male guest, Gabe. Gabe, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Also a good friend of Ab as well, associate of Bianca as well. But I'm also a girl dad of a 10-year-old, also an illustrious Dwight D. Eisenhower alum, you know what I mean? Class of 07. But no, I said just want to add my input and also just obviously gain knowledge and try to put out knowledge as well in regard to discuss today, but definitely nice meeting the rest of you.
As y'all can see, we kind of lost somebody, so Lauren should be back when she can be. So tonight's conversation is basically about the things that moms might miss, right, when raising sons, right? We always talk about that, women can't raise boys, which I don't necessarily agree with. I do believe that there are going to be holes regardless, right? Like there's even with two parents, there's going to be holes, right? But raising a son who has a completely different experience than you had, I think comes with holes, right? So I kind of want to have a conversation about that and ask the fellas and the ladies as well about what their experiences are in that space, in that world. This sparked from a conversation that I had with a mother via email. So this is a mom whose son I taught for 2 years. We had a good relationship. So even after he graduated, we still communicated about their relationship because it got rocky, at points. It was rocky when he was in the building. I had to sit down conversation with both of them, and we kind of came up with some strategies to assist their relationship. It worked for a little while. She was happy with how it was going, and then it got rocky again, right? So she asked me for another conversation, to sit down with them again. She was a little fed up at this point, right? Like she felt like she had exhausted all her options. She ain't know what to do. She was trying to be a different version of a mom, right? She said she used to parent. She used to be a rah mom, you know what I mean? So she said she wanted to try a different way, and she didn't necessarily have the tools. At least she felt like she didn't have the tools to get that. So I was trying to, coach her through that process, and ultimately we came to the understanding that it's just certain things that she just doesn't understand because they don't have the same lived experiences, right? Like I feel like living as a man, just like as a woman, of course, but living as a man is one of the craziest experiences that you can't really describe. You can't really describe it because for one, it sounds like you're complaining, right? And no man want to sound like they complaining about it because it is what it is, right? But it's the truth, right? It just is what it is. So fellas, if I could ask you before we get started, what is your thoughts or what are your thoughts about that? That topic. Gabe, I'll let you start since you're a newcomer, and then Chaz will get your opinion next.
Just give me a little background. I actually had the benefit of growing up with two younger brothers. And I think just having that added to a little bit of that before I went to my mother about anything, I would always holler at my brother, or they would be knowledgeable about what we're going through. So I think to my benefit, helped me. But on just kind of what you was explaining though, the tough part about, I think, and ladies, you all can attest to this maybe, about having, as I think, is sometimes breaking that barrier. And the barrier may just be just as simple as something as simple as them not telling you, you know, they don't like the way, I don't know, you put this shirt on, or they don't like, I don't know, it's just anything. But it's sometimes it's hard breaking that barrier, explaining that to a woman, I think, than excuse me, explaining it to a male. So with that benefit of me having brothers, it helped me. But at the same time, I can understand if we don't have siblings, how that can be a hindrance. So the biggest, I think, a lot of, you know, what you're doing as well, Ab, is having the ability to break that barrier with these men. But at the same time, it's tough because, yes, they'll have that comfortability with you, but they may not have that with women. They may have it with their mom, but they may not have it with other women, their aunties,
Right.
their that's not male. So I think just having, like I said, friends and also having siblings is the benefit. I understand how tough it is. And I'm not sure if if the other gentleman wants to go ahead and go, but just, I think I'm a little bit biased on my end because I told you I had the siblings. So I think that helped me kind of find my pathway through that. But I can definitely understand how, it can be tough for mothers though.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Ab, can you do me a favor real quick? Can you pose your question in another question for me, if that makes sense?
All right, let me see if I can reword this. So I think the question that I'm trying to get to is, do you believe that there is a difference in our experiences from, the experience that a woman has, her maturation process versus the one that a man experiences?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, definitely. There's definitely a difference. It's a difference in the same, but it is a difference because, as men now, the boys going into men, especially in these times, it's a certain type of purpose that God put on us, right? And so we growing up into this atmosphere, this world we living in now, is polar opposite to our destiny or our purpose. So that breeds a certain type of frustration. We can't really articulate what our purpose may be, but our nature screams that we have a purpose, which is, quite frankly, man, as a black male, is, we just gods, right? So that's just a certain type of pressure that it brings. And it's the same with women, right? They have their role in being their gods as well. But, for us, it's a certain type of responsibility now that we got to be able to man up and take on, right? Just, the world of chaos, and that's because we haven't been on our job as we should have been. So that growing up now just brings something type of, a different type of pressure, man, and accountability that we got to step up to the plate to. And like my brother said, he was, he had siblings. I grew up, single parent. But one of the things, I always praise my mom for is she pointed me in a direction of a male figure, like a man's man that I can draw from and kind of gain some inspiration, examples from. And so that's, even though I didn't have no one to ask, hands on, I was still able to see far away a real example and the do's and don'ts of, how men should move in this world with that pressure on the man's shoulders. And so I'm always thankful for that. And I think, when we talking about raising boys, that's always going to be key. Just show them how a man should move. How, when you frustrated, how do you handle that? Right? Instead of screaming and arguing with women and just crashing out, it's a certain temperature you got to have to move. And I think that's just key. So yeah, it is a difference though, for sure.
Yeah.
I was about to say, before you go, I'm happy he asked about reposing the question, but I do want to add, even to his point about pressure, man. It's tough, as you know, especially in this environment where social media for these kids, man, are everything. So What they see, they want to obtain. You know what I'm saying? Money based, anything else, clothes, is they want to obtain it because see when you that age, you want to get the woman, and that's the biggest thing. So that being the goal needs to change. You want to get a trade, you want to get this type of asset. This is going to come. The women going to come naturally if you obtain that. You know what I'm saying? Don't go for the fast or whatever. So those type of pressures, and I'll let the women speak to their one as well, or have several as well. Me having a child, like, or a daughter, should I say? You know, it's been times where, you know, she would ask me or her mother to get her hair done this certain way because this is how the girls want it. You know, putting the color all in and stuff, and which is fine. I personally don't care, but her mother has her reasons why she doesn't want to do it, and you know, in those instances, I stand down. But she has, and that's part of the pressure where it's like, yeah, just because don't do it because she's doing it. Do it because you like it. You know what I'm saying? Or do it because, you know, obviously this is something that you want to look like, not as opposed you want to look like her. So just you know, little stuff like that. I can there's a difference, but I think for males sometimes it gets a little tough because a lot of ours leads to, like you said, crash outs. You know what I'm saying? You want to get it fast, or you want to get it a different way and not the honorable way, and that leads to, like you said, bad decisions and scratch. You know, all bad. Yeah.
So I want to pose a different question to the women, right? And before I do that, I want to ask each of you to give us like a quick intro of like your motherhood experience, maybe a little bit about your son, you know, just so we can all have a scope here. So Bianca, if you want to get us started with that.
Yeah, so my introduction into motherhood was totally unexpected. I was just living my best life. I had a career in media, entertainment. I worked with a lot of artists and DJs. I was living in Atlanta. I just knew I was going to be the rich auntie. That was I had no want or desire to have kids, right? Found out I was pregnant, and it was like when somebody hit the DJ booth in the club and it's like, like, it's like, hold up. And I was like, petrified. I had anxiety every day because I just didn't know, like, what if I'm not a good mom? What if I don't measure out to be how my mom was? Like, my mom is an amazing mom. You know, this tone was already set for me. When I had my son, mind you, I was still living in Atlanta. All of my family is here, PGDC. So I went through like severe postpartum depression. I was very locked into my son, but I totally disassociated myself with everybody else. And I was just like, I'm about to lose my mind. Like, feel like I'm about to have a mental breakdown. Like, I didn't have any ill feelings towards him, but I was like, I need to be around my village. So with that, like, then COVID hit. And then we're quarantined. And now I'm trying to decide if I want to be back up here or back down south. Like, it was just so many things. So everything was like a transition for me. Like, I entered into the world of entrepreneurship, like, immediately. Like, my son was a driving force. So it was like my journey wasn't necessarily a smooth journey. In the midst of all of that, my son's father was incarcerated. So I feel like everything for me was fight or flight. Like, I did not have a soft mom introduction. I don't regret it at all, but my journey just was like, dang, I really got to get it out the mud. Like, I got to make something shake. So I wouldn't trade it for the world, but yeah, I did not have a soft mom introduction at all.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Lauren, if you wouldn't mind sharing your story.
Hello. So, my son is 8 years old. And I too, like Bianca, living my best life. No just didn't expect it at all. Um, so when I found out, he was coming, I really wanted a girl because, that's what I was used to, girls all around. So when I found out I was having a boy, I'm like, oh, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do? So, um, he came. My son's dad left to move to West Virginia, and when he was 1, so again by myself. My village was villaging, of course, but still having to figure it out. I thought I had it together. I was a teacher, so I thought I was parenting well with other people's children, but it's different when they come home with you. You have to figure out routines and schedules, and it's different. So just having to figure out like this, my kid is a wild kid. So he is, very boisterous, very strong-willed. So just I'm very mild. So just having to figure that out with him, and letting him have his way, but also giving that balance. That is the journey I'm on. Just like finding the balance. He's getting older, so just trying to let go. When do I step in? When do I not? That's where I am right now on my journey.
Okay, thank you. Jess, please, you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, similar to Bianca and Lauren, I did not have a soft, experience going into it. My mom was sick at the time, and so I was kind of dealing with that. And then when he came, I worked all the way up until the week that I was due. So I was like pushed, what do you call it? Induced. And so I worked all the way up into that week. And then once he came, I came home from the hospital, and a day late, when we got back from the hospital, the next day I was taking my braids out so I can go to a job interview. And then I went to a job interview 2 days after I came home with him, because it was like, my mom's sick, I'm living with my mother. I didn't really have a choice. Yep. And so it's crazy because thinking back on it, it just did not make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just did not make sense. I couldn't sit down at the interview because I had stitches, TMI, but it was just, I had to stand up during my job interview, and I did get the job because I probably wasn't present, but it just, the whole experience of becoming a mother, again, I worked so much that a child was just not in the plans. I was like, this isn't it. But when he came, you got to snap into it, and you kind of, it just flows. And so my mom did recover. She did get better. So she helped me usher in, into the motherhood, but it was not a walk in the park whatsoever.
Wow.
Whatsoever. Yeah. So I learned, I know the second time around, I will try to, I know for a fact, I'm going to take all the leave. It's going to be very soft life if I have another child, like feet up. Yeah. Eating, doing whatever I want, it's just going to be very soft. But I hustled the entire 9 months. I hustled the entire time he was, a toddler. Like, it just never stopped. Even at 10 years old, it just does not stop.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for being, as open and sharing these stories with us. Seriously. If I could pose a question to the women on the panel, right? And y'all can, whichever order y'all want to answer. The question is, like, once you realize, or now that your sons are here, right? They're physically formed people, you interact with them daily, right? Has your perception of men changed or been affected by the fact that you're now raising somebody who will become a man?
Definitely, because I think my priority is, my thought process is this: you can do all the perfect things for your child, right? Growing up. At the end of the day, you don't know what they're going to do when they become grown. Like, you could be like, it's so cliche when you hear parents say they wasn't raised that way, because you think they're lying, but in most cases, some people really were not raised that way. We don't know what happened along the path, right? But I think, like, with me, I don't try to put too much pressure on he's 6, right? So it's like, say for instance, with sports, you hear all of these people, like men in my family, like, oh, you need to put him in this, you need to put him in this, he need to do that. Everybody think their child is going to the NBA or NFL, right? But I'm like, at the end of the day, I just want to raise a decent human being. Whatever you decide to do in life, be a beast at it, for sure, but just be a good person. Like, I think for moms, like with me, with having him, the first thing is you cannot be in denial. I'm not in denial. I'm a woman. I can't teach you how to be a man. I can teach you how to be a decent human being. And that is going to be translate into a great man. But it's like, I'm not a man. I can't teach you how to be a man. I'm not trying to teach you how to be a man, even if I have masculine energy. Like, you might not receive it that well from me because I'm your mom. All right. So I think it's just important to, like, be realistic and don't be in denial about it. Like, people see signs in their children early on and they choose to ignore whatever that sign might be. whether you're missing something they might need emotionally or mentally, whatever it is, learning wise, people, the signs are there from the jump. So I feel like it's up to the parent if you're going to address it. You're going to be in denial about it. You're going, okay, how can we work this? What can I do to help you on your journey? So, yeah.
I agree, because I think for me, it's more so not wanting him to be aggressive. I think that's the angle that I take, because I did my mother, I watched my mother get abused, right? So my mom was in an abusive relationship for 10 years. So I witnessed that. And so I think seeing and living through that, I don't want my son to go in that route. And so when I approach him on certain things, what Bianca said with the masculine energy, sometimes I can be a little bit like hard. And so I do try to drive the point home, but also do it in a way where I can hug you afterwards, right? Like I can still give you the hug. I can still tell you I meant what I said, but I love you. Because at first it was more so like raw, right? Like it was like, real macho. And I'm just like, I can't be that way, because I saw him like tense up, or I'll see the way he interacts with females. Yep. And that's always my thing, right? Like when the teacher gives me feedback, I'm like, was it a boy or girl? That's like the first thing I think, because I'm like, and it's always a girl that he tries to be friends with, but then they'll kind of just like, you're annoying, get away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, how do I tell him, how do I coach him through that?
Bro, don't worry, bro. Your time is coming, bro.
It's coming.
Your time, they'll be back, bro. They'll be back.
I'm just like, I don't know how to date. The girls are just, the only thing that I know for now is to just tell him to like, leave them alone. Like, I'm just like, leave them alone. It'll be okay. Like, he was like, why don't they like me? And so I'm trying to figure out how to, because I don't want him to grow that whole, like, girls are,
Right.
And so it's just that I don't want to raise an aggressive child, and I also don't want him to be aggressive to women whatsoever. And so I'm trying to deal with that dynamic as well.
Yeah.
I got some thoughts about that one.
Just again, going back to that balance, while he was younger, I would, want him to express how he was feeling. I would want him to put names to, like, how are you feeling? Are you angry? Are you mad? Like, are you excited? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, I was always checking in. But now putting a little bit more structure to, like, okay, this is what you do when you feel angry. This is what you do when you, feel super excited. Just, in your body, this is what you feel like. So just like naming like how he may feel in his body, and then what he can do when he feels those certain emotions has kind of been the thing for me, because that's just been something that, I'm noticing when men talk to him, they're like, it's easy to talk to him when it's him and a man. Like, they're like, they're able to get all of the words out of him. They're able to, walk him down the process. And so I'm like, how do they do that? But I can't do that. To the lady's point, I can't do that. So it's just trying to, hone in on that, but then, in the mom way. So just, still letting him know, like, I'm here when you want to talk. However, like, I know I'm not a man. I know there are some things I won't understand, but try me out first. And if it's above my rank, I'm a tap you in with uncle, with dad, with somebody, pastor. I'm gonna tap you in with somebody, but try me out first, and then we can kind of push you out to the trusted men in our lives.
Yeah, I love that.
Fellas, y'all want to chime in on anything they said?
Yeah, man, just piggybacking off what Jess said, I'm actually on the other spectrum, or the other end of what you referring to. My daughter is a softie, and she too is 10. So they're in, I'm not sure if your son is also in 3rd grade, but 4th grade, excuse me. She's in 4th grade right now, and she's going through the issue where, kids, and especially girls, I'm not used to this because I'm just used to boys, we'll duke it out, that's it. Girls are really chatty patty, so
messy.
Yes, messy. So, sometimes she'll come home and she's fine, but then she'll go to school. We get a call saying, hey, she's crying. The other kids are picking on her. or whatever. And then, you know, her mom is really big on, you know, stand up for yourself. Don't let nobody, which is the same type of time I'm on. But her mom is so far saying, you know, get physical. Just don't let them just keep, you know, keep this going, because eventually, yeah, right. Eventually, they're just going to think you're soft, and they're never just not going to respect you. So,
Yep.
you know, but at the same time, I'm a little bit more soft with my daughter. I'm not as, listen, if they keep messing with you, you know, we need to take a trip up to the school. You know, one of the girls is apparently her friend. So it's like, we're going to her birthday party in 2 weeks. Why are y'all even, what is this? Like, girls are just different. And, you know,
Right.
and similar to Lauren, what you said about being a boy, a lot of times we have an easier way of fixing things or solving issues. Like you said, when your son is talking to another boy, it's certain, you know, I don't know, certain signals we do to each other where it's like, or because he knows to stand down because it's another man, you know, you can have that conversation a little easier. It's a little tougher when it comes to women. And then, like I said, maybe, you know, before or after he goes, maybe y'all can give me some advice on this too. But it's just normal. It's just how women, kids, especially women that age, you know, act like.
Yes.
It don't get no better.
It starts at she prime time, so don't be alarmed. Don't be nervous about it. Like, this is the very beginning of it. Like, she'll go through this. Not my friend. We not best friends no more. In 2 months, I got a new best friend, but being an old best friend, back best friend, she's gonna go through that cycle. So this is totally normal. I know that doesn't help, but it's totally normal.
It's very normal.
We're literally going to her birthday party in 2 weeks, and this is the same girl that made you cry because she was making funny. I don't get it.
Yeah.
They'll make up in, like you said, a couple of weeks, and then they'll be at a Adventureland playing with each other.
Exactly.
And see, I was a tomboy growing up, so I didn't do like Barbie dolls and all. I literally stopped being a tomboy in 10th grade. That's when so it's like I didn't have the girl experience as a little kid. Like, I was just like outside playing football with the boys, like rough. So it's interesting to hear that perspective of the girls.
She's a girl.
Yeah.
Baz, you want to chime in?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, for me, you know, I'm raising 2 boys, 7 and 4. And you know, what I'm learning though really is, you know, I'm trying to balance, especially my oldest, that his emotional side with when to, you know, be vulnerable and communicate your your feelings, but it's a time and a place, you know, for me. But I will say this: in public, everything we teach him, he good. It's just when he get home, it's just like, bro, what's going on with you? But in public, he'd be good. But it's just the balance. And but I am learning though, as a father, the best thing that I'm seeing that is working is me putting in the work. Literally, him watching me move in this world, right? So I'm big in the community. I do a lot for the community, and so I take them with me. I take both of them with me, and now they can see. It's like, oh damn, this is what a superhero look like. So I tell them when I put my suit on, this is my superhero mode, and now, but they get to see that walk, and that's almost becoming half the battle of me just having to talk. It's just now you just got to put the work in. You can't be a lazy parent, you know, because they watching, right? And so so that's just my thing, and it's an interesting journey though, and I'm here for it. I love it. So right now I got no complaints, but I'm just trying to find a balance with them sharing their emotions with when to kind of suck it up, and so yeah.
And I love what you said, Chaz, about like you take him with you. Like, I do a lot of community work, so I'm literally in Ward 7 and Ward 8 in the trenches of Southeast, and like some people be like, you take your son out there with you, and I'm like, yes, I do. He needs to see, like, yes, you are privileged, but there's another side to the coin. Like, people don't have everything that you have, even in this small amount of time. Like, you get whatever you want. He's a well-behaved kid, so I have no problems with him behavior, anything. But I'm like, you need to understand that there's another side of the track, so you don't go on that. You don't go to the other side. Like, you need to know what it looks like to hear other kids talking and hear them say, like, all I got is string beans in the house, or whatever that may look like for them. Like, even though you're 6, is like it's starting. I'm planting the seed in you young, because it's like, if you could change somebody's life by this much, like, you did your job.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's important. So I love that you said that too.
I mean, I just want to jump back what you said. I was with my mom, but I've seen that with her. So it's almost like, when you having children now, as parents, we kind of got to figure out our stuff, right? Dang, what is my purpose first, right?
Yep.
But now, as a parent, I know it's bigger than me, right? So I seen my mom be selfless and help out and do what she do out here. So now I'm coming, and it's almost like going into the family business. If you study other cultures, that's how they do it. It's not like I'm forcing him, but listen, son, this is my purpose, and some of it is probably yours, right? To be a good person. Some of it is to help others and do for others, because God put you here to be selfless. It ain't about us. And so him watching us in that walk is huge. Like, I watched my mom, and it's huge for me. So now I just hope that they take on that for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that.
A few things I want to address that y'all said, right? So Jesse was talking about like the aggression part, right? And like being scared of it and making sure you like kind of like temper it. That's a tricky one, right? Because you don't want to like put that flame out to the point where because they become unsure of themselves, right? It gets to like, when am I supposed to use this? Because you need it. As a man, you need that.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to do without. Like, I don't know if y'all ever been around men that don't have none of that. He don't got nothing about. He can't defend himself, can't defend you. He's like, you just a body.
Keep that run.
You know what I'm saying? Like you just a body. It crashed at me. So like, you don't want to be around a man that don't know how to when to turn it on or off, right? So like, you don't want to completely squash that. Like, he needs that.
Yeah.
He needs it. You just got to direct it, right? Like, there's got to be a place for it. Of course, you don't want to like turn the faucet all the way on where he just like on 10 with everybody.
Right.
It is necessary, it's as a man for sure it's necessary. Like, because men put each other in hierarchies.
Yep.
And men will treat you away when they know you don't got nothing.
Exactly.
It's just like a natural thing that we do. You know what I'm saying? It's not even on purpose. It's just like a natural thing. We get into space with other men, and we just naturally figure out where we're supposed to be. Like, it's not a conversation. It's not a conversation. It's not none. It's just like we just know like who is who in the room, right? So like, you don't want to squash that. Like, as he get older, he'll get better with dealing with it, knowing where to direct it. But you don't want to. You just want to talk to him about like, when is it? When do you need it? When is a bad time to? When is it time to throw it out the window? Like, because there's also times where you absolutely don't need it. Right? It's in the way, so you want to avoid those situations for sure. You gotta be careful, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with it. And Lauren, you said something earlier about providing structure and giving instruction. Like, structure is one of the things that my mom did best with me and my brother was provide like a structure. Like, she let things go on within that structure, but there was always a boundary where it can happen, but it has to happen within this space, right? Like, even when we was kids, and I was 10 years old, 11 years old, me and Jessica used to talk about this. I'm listening to the Hot Boys, like unedited, like person in the car. But she just let me know this: you're not allowed to speak like that.
Right.
Like, provided, because she knows we were gonna do it.
Yep. Anyway,
it was gonna happen. She just provided the space for us, to let it happen. Like, so
just don't listen to Keisha. That's right. I couldn't listen to Keisha.
All of that. So like, she just provided space for us to do it in a safe environment, right? She let us be us, even with the aggression part. Like, I grew up with a older brother. I had mad cousins around me, so like violence was one of the things that we got out with each other. Like, that's just what it was like. But it took to the point where she would just like provide a space. I don't want to say provide a space for us to beat each other up, but like it wouldn't be the end of the world when it was happening. right?
Yep.
Be like,
Right.
protect each other. Y'all can do this, protect each other. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that, you know, nobody get hurt essentially. But it was never like stop,
Yeah.
right? It was never stop. We'd be punching each other,
Yep.
having in a headlock, all this type of craziness. And it was never like stop doing that. It was always like make sure y'all keep each other safe,
Yep.
each other. So like that structure was net because boys are going to do what we do.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Best thing you
Anyway.
can do is instruct us in ways to be safe in doing it, to be smart in doing it. But trying to stop us from doing it, you kind of
No.
Ain't no way.
All the mothers
Ain't no way,
like,
boy.
Long pause.
it's a losing battle. Like that's a losing fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know, that's just something to keep in mind. I wrote some things down also, and y'all could like again. So this might not be for the ladies on the panel. This could be for somebody watching. For one, boys are generally competitive, right? That's just something you probably not going to be able to give. They just we're competitive by nature. He needs responsibility and accountability, right? Even if it's something small, he needs to be responsible for something.
Yep.
I don't give a damn what it is, and it should scale up as he gets older. But he needs to be responsible for something that you know you can hold him accountable to, and something that you can praise him for, right? Because we need that too. We need that praise. We need to know that like we're doing something good. We're doing something right. You know, so we're good at something.
Yep.
Right? Even if it's something small, like we need to know that we're good at something. Like we need that. Like this is people in general, but you know what I'm saying. The outside world is going to beat him up enough, right? So he need to know when he come to you or when you around that you telling him like, yo, I love the way you doing this, or like keep this up, like you improving in this, like even if it's something small. What else was I going to say? Boys, they need to respect you, right? But they're not going to respect you with the emotion is not going to do it, right? They have to respect your logic.
Yeah.
Right? Men move with logic essentially. So like we need to like it would come to a point when I was, 12, 13, 14, my mother would like have an outburst every once in a while. And me and my brother would laugh. Like, bro,
That was Simi.
it's like, bro, what's her? Like she's tripping. Like we don't the emotion is kind of like, bro, you relax. Like she's doing a lot. Like when you come to us and talk and have a conversation, like, yo, this didn't make sense. Like, walk me through it. But like, you just coming here screaming about, or you come home from work and the chicken ain't thawed out and you mad, or you know what I'm saying, you been here all day. I'm like, oh, the game, man. Like, I'm gonna listen. I'm respectful, but like, I'm tuning you out. It's one ear out the other. It's like, so like the emotional part is kind of tough for a lot of boys to like get a grasp of. It just feels like a lot. It's like. Black a little bit. Like so we gotta. It's a language barrier essentially. Like it's almost speaking to somebody who speak a different language. Like I don't quite understand it. Like it's taking me. I'm a almost 40-year-old man. Like I'm just now understanding women. Like you know what I'm saying. All different. Like we're just different. Like and that's cool. It's okay if we understand that and we like move forward with that understanding, right?
Yeah.
So again, the consequences, they have to be based on logic. The consequences should be based on logic and not based on emotion, because your emotions are going to change.
Yeah.
Right? If you make a decision based on like one day something might annoy you because there's other things going on in your life, but the next day it won't.
Gotta
right?
be consistent.
So, yeah, you got to be consistent. So it's kind of like, is this really a problem, or is it because yesterday today she don't really give a fuck.
Right.
And so like that's something we got to be consistent with. Also, like I'm a overprotecting, right? It's good to protect your son. We want to make sure that our kids are safe, but overprotecting him will cause him to resent you.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the big one.
It's going to cause him to resent you because men only respect men who are men.
Yep.
And if I know that you're not the same version of a man that I am, I'm not gonna have the same level of respect for you because your mother is gonna rescue you from everything.
Yep.
Right? And the men that y'all want, like as romantic partners, these men have been tested. These men have lost and they have won. Right? It's very dangerous to trust a man who's never lost anything.
Facts.
A man lost anything isn't a man yet,
Yep.
right? Because he don't even trust himself to get it back.
That part.
He don't know what it is to break something and fix it,
Yep.
right? He'll break it and run. So like a man who's never broken and fixed something, you got to be careful with men like that, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the confidence in themselves,
Yeah.
right? The confidence comes knowing like I can get this back, or I can make this right. But if you never had to break anything because somebody else is gonna fix it, I got confidence in my mom.
Facts.
Yeah.
My mom gonna make it right for me. I might not know what I'm doing, but she gonna make it right all the time. She always gonna rescue
Yeah.
me. She always gonna rescue me. She always gonna make it right. So I'm just gonna hang on. It feels better. I'm gonna just hang on to that for as long as I can. Like
Yeah.
I know it's tough because I had conversations with moms and they just can't let their son fail in front of them. Like it's a struggle. Like it's like your heart is being ripped out your chest to watch your son fail, but you have to because you're now if you don't let him again with boundaries. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't let him fail, you are doing a disservice to his wife
Yeah.
and his children
Yeah.
because that's not the man that you even want.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like
Exactly.
these still very young men that we're talking about. So I'm not expecting you to adultify your sons because we want them to be boys as long as they can be boys.
Yeah.
Once you know what I'm saying, they get outside, they no longer nobody looks at them. Nobody looks at your son the way that you do.
Yeah.
Nobody. You're the only one. It's just you. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? I'm gonna stop talking.
I like those points that you said, like just with the like responsibility, the accountability, like, and even just like with the aggression part. Like when my son, he was like 1, and you know, when they babies, you know, y'all play, well, boy moms, you might wrestle with them a little bit, you know, like you toughening them up. And my dad seen him like pouncing on me, but we just playing, like he laughing, I'm laughing. He was like, don't let him do that no more. And I was like, what you talking about, daddy? Like we playing. He was like, he's a boy. Subconsciously, he's sizing you up. He's a baby, but he's sizing you up. He's saying what he can do with you to see what you'll respond to. And I was like, so now when people compliment my son, like, oh my God, he's so well behaved. I'm like, I don't even play with him like that. Like, I don't play that with you. Like, this ain't that. And I ain't like, I'm not her. I'm her for real. Like, no. So it's just like, I think with that, like with the aggression too, like now that he's in sports, I think something that I noticed, well, he kind of called me out on it, like something that might have been missing for him. Like my brother would take him to practice and he'll be like, Mommy, are you working? I'm like, no, I'm not working. You know, your uncle about to take you to practice. And he like, but it mad, like you need to be out there. You need to be recording me running in plays. And I'm like, you only 6, but he like, you know about Justin Jefferson, you know about Josh Allen, you know about, and I'm like, no, but I'll research it. Like I'm learning the game, right? So with me knowing like that matters, my presence matters to him. So it's like, even on the field, I'm telling him like, I don't care, even though you 6, I'm the mom, the whole team know I got a bullhorn telling the boys, put them in the dirt. Like, put them in the dirt. And I'm like, these your friends. They could be your friends from an opposing team or your teammates when you at practice. But when you on that field, I need you to turn up for me because boys can smell weakness. Men will smell weakness in you. Like, not saying you got to put on this front, but I'm like, there's no other way for me to sugarcoat this for you, even at 6 years old. Like, my son act like an old man, but it's because I'm talking to him like, look, people gonna smell that weak. You can't show no type of weakness. If you want to cry when you get in the house to me, cool. We can cry all day, open arms. But when you're on that field or whatever it is, like, I need you to get aggressive. And I also tell him, like, just because some of these boys got their daddy on the field, don't make them better than you. Because, and I'm very grateful for a village, like his uncles out there, my dad out, like he has a strong male presence. So it's like, all right, you ain't really lacking that. And as far as like the responsibility and accountability, like him being responsible for stuff, like, you know, you're responsible for little things, setting up your football equipment, taking, like my son take his own shower. I've been stopped washing him up. Like he's very old manish. Like I'm putting out my clothes. If you let me iron, I will iron, but I don't. But it's like, he's like, I'm like, okay, you dump the trash and this is your responsibility. You know, you got practice on these days. You got to make sure you're ready. That's not my job. Like, this what you want to do. I must stand 10 toes behind you, but this is your dream. Like, he'd be like, okay. And like, even with the accountability, trying to balance like me working and him being in sports, him having homework, the homework getting a little harder in first grade now. So I'm like, oh, kindergarten, they had y'all doing nothing because y'all was COVID babies technically, which I didn't agree with, but y'all wasn't doing nothing. Now y'all get homework every single night that's due the very next day. So I'm just telling him, like, even the other day, I just punished him the other day, right? He got a bad grade on his classwork. And I'm like, dang, y'all really giving like bad, real percentages in first grade? Like, okay. And he like, I'm like, did you ask the teacher for help? He like, yes. Then he said, well, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't ask her. I just didn't want to get in trouble. I was like, well, now you in trouble because for one, you lied to my face. And for two, you didn't speak up for yourself. A closed mouth never gets fed. You have to advocate for yourself. So I'm like, you're not punished because of the bad grade. You're still learning. You're punished because you didn't open your mouth and speak up for yourself. That's not going to get you nowhere in life.
Hey, I appreciate you explaining that. For real. That's a big deal because a lot of times people will just give you a punishment and just that'll be it. Right. Which part am I getting in trouble for? I don't know.
Right.
Explain to me what I did that I need to fix so I don't do that shit again.
Yeah.
I appreciate you explaining that to him. Like, you need that like, over and over and over and over again. Because, you know, those are the things that stick it to the back of their head, like when they about to do something stupid. It's like every time I was about to do something dumb, I still did it sometimes.
For sure.
His voice, and I would have to consciously turn it off. I'm like, I probably shouldn't do this, but yeah, like we here. Eventually, I got to the point where I was just like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They need to hear that over and over and over and over and over again. Like they really do. We don't look, and this is gonna sound crazy. Like we don't look at our mothers the same way that we look at like male authority figures in general, right? Like mother can say the same thing that my homeboy's dad told me, and this is my mother. It's gonna sound completely different to me.
Yeah.
It just is. Like there's a respect there. I love her, I respect her, but it just sounds different. Because it's like you don't even know you don't know what I'm dealing with right now. Like you as a human, like you've been my age, but you are like again, our experiences are just different. And that's okay. That's not anything to like. That doesn't make you unqualified to like, you know, voice your opinion or whatever. Of course it does. But there's also some things that maybe you might not be able to relate to. Just like what Gabe said, raising his daughter, it's just like as good as a person that I know Gabe to be, and I know he's giving her all the tools that she needs. It's just certain shit he just don't get. It just is what it is. Like, it's just certain shit you just won't understand.
Yeah.
Even to add to that, I think a lot of our fears, at least our age group, around that was more so not even the disappointment. I think is more so the actual physical consequence that was come behind it. So, you know, back then, I don't know about y'all, we used to get our ass beat. We used to get whipping. So obviously I'm not doing that with my daughter now, but her thing is the disappointment. So whatever happens in school, she, you know, or she gets in trouble or something, her mom may call me and tell me what happened. And then now she has to get on the phone with me, and now we're talking, and she's crying because she knows more. So I'm not going to do anything to her, but I'm more so disappointed now. So now when she comes over to my house for the week is, you know, oh man, you can't do this, but it's because of this happened. So our consequences are a little bit different. And I think that's better actually, because growing up, man, like I said, a lot of the consequences of me not doing something was because I knew I was going to get a whooping or my ass beat. So I wouldn't do it. You know, granted, that's a good thing for me still not to do it, but the consequence wasn't necessarily the best way to resolve it. So now, like you said, when you have responsibility and stuff like that and they're not being met, or expectations that are not being met, it's a lot better when the disappointment or the consequences, again, disappointing your parent or disappointing your mother because you know she's going to be upset. Like you said, Bianca, your son not raising his hand, asking that question. Now, if that happens again, and then, you know, raise his hand. What did you ask the teacher? And you say no again, then he, you know, again, you're not going to whip him, but you're going to be disappointed. And maybe that's the better consequence of
Yeah.
not doing it. So I think, man, it's tough though with a daughter because sometimes I be wanting to give her a little tap on the head or something like that when she was younger. You can do that as a boy, and I hate to say it, not as like I shouldn't say it. You shouldn't do it with boys either, but that would be something that I would do. I do that to my nephews every now and then, but I couldn't do that with my daughter. And I think even me evolving and being a little different, like I know raising daughters are different, but still, man, like I still need to be a little bit softer even with my nephews and stuff like that. So, but now, man, I 100% agree. And I want to hear what you respond to that, Bianca. Like, what methods you use now? So if he doesn't do something, what are the consequences now? Like, what would be the punishment?
So this is bad, but I know football got his heart right now. So lately, my threats, man, you about to get pulled off that team.
There you go. Okay.
Or like that particular night when he got punished, he had to do 100 push-ups and he had to do wall sits.
Yep.
He counted to about 100, probably 7 different times on that wall sits. I was like, I know them legs on fire, but it's like, stop playing with me. And it wasn't so much even with them. Like, I'm telling you to raise your hand because I've already wrote the teacher. I want to check her for not doing her part because I already brought it to your attention that he might need help with this.
Mm-hmm.
So if you still grade them in a certain way, like I already said it to you. So I'm just like, I need you to do your part so I can step behind you. Like I can hold her accountable. Like you got to meet me in the middle so she can do what she's supposed to do as a teacher.
Right.
But yeah, it's either no football, that the PS5, I'm snatching that.
Every time.
Yeah, I'm snatching the PS5 or just like the push-ups or wall sits, but it's rare that he don't really give me no problems. So look, fingers crossed, knocking on wood for that. They like that, but yeah, that's my method. That's my go-tos.
I love that.
Ask y'all, do y'all have any like, or can you remember a point where you're like, I don't know what to do at this junction right here? Like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, how do I handle this situation? Yeah, I have little moments.
I think those moments are like, I'm gonna cry in the shower, and then I'm gonna take it to God. Like, just guide me and tell me what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to be doing. Like, and just, I think it's a thing now for me, just because I feel like I had been in hustle mode and fight or flight for so long. So now it's a lot smoother for me. Like, we got our flow, we got our systems, and it's like what's meant to be will be, what's not, it won't. Like, don't force it.
Yeah.
So I think that helps me balance everything.
Okay, Lauren, you got any stories where you feel like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do? Like maybe I'm not doing the right thing, or like you got anything like that?
Just when it comes to him engaging with his friends, I think we're all kind of like naming that too, but just like that peer interaction. It's like that's something that I want him to be able to, manage on his own, but then also finding that balance of like when I could step in and like give him a little jewel, give him drop a little gem, drop a little like, well, I think that you should give this person a little bit of space, or I think you should step off from this person a little bit. Don't sit by them on the bus today. But just like again, just that peer interaction, and when to like give him that advice, but then also like let him figure it out. That type of thing.
I think what works well is like letting them know that you're human. Like, you're also a human being, right? Like, you've also had experiences too. It's like when I was going through something like this once upon a time, and let me show you how I played it without like being like, do this. This is what you need to do. It's more so like, I'm gonna tell you what you could do. Like, you could handle it like this, like without necessarily like pushing them to make, like giving them some options and letting them make a decision, right? And then I feel like with that, they'll be able to come back to you and let you know like how whatever decision they made and how it worked or didn't work or whatever. I think that's helpful.
Yeah, I do that. I do that too. I just listen, bro. When I was your age, this is what I would do if this is what your end goal is, or you want this, right? I would move like this, and I think that would be more to your benefit. I mean, you let me know. I mean, and I kind of do that type of thing with them. You just try to, like you said, paint the picture of logic, like that makes sense or no, or you want to try to do it your way. Okay, respect. But if I was you, I move this way so I can get what I want, So I kind of play with it like that. But yeah, man. I just study them though, man. Because you have those questions like, man, what do I do? Especially when, like I said, when he get home, that's when his emotional side show, right? And so at one point, stop. But then I had to really sit back and just study him, and then now it's just conversation. Like, just talk to me, bro. Like you said, I'm not mad at you for this. This is probably why I'm upset. But what was your thought process here? And I just sit and talk with him. What's your thought process? But going back to what Gabe said, bro, like it was one time I really had to. He had to get it, So he really did something out of pocket, right? And that's really the last resort. That's the last resort because I think y'all can say I do. You hitting the wall, you doing push-ups. I'm gonna make you exert yourself physically, but if you really do something out of pocket, man, listen. Because I will say for me, it was an uncle of mine, and I had back then we used to get with a paddle, like a little wooden paddle, and I tell him I love him for this because it was a point in my life where that paddle actually saved me. Like I could have went down the wrong path, but because I got met with that paddle that time at that young age, it changed my direction. And I always got love for him, even though he's in Chicago and whatnot. I always thank him for that because I know that changed the direction of where I was headed. And so, it's the last resort, basically. So yeah.
That's a good point. Let me ask y'all, what do y'all do for the ladies? I never thought to ask, but like, what do y'all do for like discipline? What's your discipline structure? Like, how did that work? Very curious.
So I'm kind of like, I am torn when it comes to discipline because I know that my son struggles so much during the day with so my son has ADHD, right? And he goes through a lot of emotions, and I'm trying to, it's an emotional thing for me because I'm in the thick of it.
Take time. Okay. It's okay. Just take a second.
All right.
It's all right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Take a second.
Good.
Take your time. You need to go off mic. That's fine. You can go off mic. Take a second. Lauren, what's your strategy? What strategy do you use?
I'm very eclectic with it. So I, sometimes we do push-ups, sometimes we do wall sits, sometimes we outside running. Sometimes I call in the big dogs. Look, because he hates being held accountable by, uncles, cousins. So it's like, oh, let me hold on. You was acting up in school today, but whoever gonna answer, talk to your bro, talk to your boy. He's showing off. He hates it. They pull up on him. They hold him accountable. But that's like the biggest. That's like the top. But for the most part, the physical, gotta tag him a couple times. But I don't like that. But very eclectic over here.
You're creative.
That's deep, yeah.
It's
Sorry
psychology.
about that, guys.
You fine.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
But so like I said, I try not to use so much discipline when he gets home at the end of the day because he hears it and he deals with it all day, right? Like, so from the time he wakes up to the time he gets home, he is being like constantly redirected, constantly, in trouble, constantly like, make sure you do this, make sure you don't do this. He's constantly hearing something all day long on top of what he hears or what he's dealing with inside of his body. And so I'm always torn at the end of the day of like, how do I address this? Because I just got a phone call. I have to come up to the school, or it's always something. And so I'm always torn of like, do I react off my emotion and like beat your ass, or do I dig inside of myself and say, imagine how he felt all day dealing with this, right? Like, and now you're on his back. And it's like, it's hard because it's like, the one thing that I do stand 10 toes on is accountability, right? Like, I'm going to hold you accountable, right? Like, we have to get that clear. You should not have did this. You have to do this in order to get this outcome. So it's like constantly teaching him the accountability part of it. But what I'm having trouble with is the discipline, right? Like, and how much to lay down, because like I said, I'm in the thick of it. Like, he's in the 5th grade and he's going into middle school. And so when we was having that conversation earlier before we got started, I'm like, now he's about to go into 6th, 7th, and 8th grade with like, there is no hose bar there. Like, he could possibly have to physically fight every day because he is like, you know, hyperactive, and people do get irritated super quick. The kids get irritated super quick. So it's like, it's a lot of moving parts on this side over here. And every day I'm having to choose how to approach him. And every day is different. Like, some days I'm a little bit more stern. Some days I'm probably too tapped out to even go back and forth. So I just like, I let it go. And my mom is always like, have the conversation in the car. And when you pull up and when you get to the house, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Do not talk about it anymore. Do not have the conversation anymore. Once y'all done in the car, come in the house and let it go. So to answer, that was a long answer to your question of how do you discipline. I don't know how to discipline right now. I'm still trying to figure that out, because again, like you all said, I am raising someone's husband. I am raising someone's, you know, friend. And it goes back to that whole aggression thing too, right? Like, when he's in the height of it, if I'm coming down on him like, why are you not doing this? It's like, well, who protects me?
He don't even hear that. Yeah.
He don't hear it, right? It's like, you know, so who protects me? Like, my mother's always mad at me. The school always mad at me. Like, who protects me? And how much softness do I give him? And how it's like,
it's tricky.
That's a black boy that I'm raising, a black boy. And he goes to, and so we did the PG County school where it was predominantly black, right? And now we're in St. Mary's County and it's predominantly white. And so it's, again, navigating those waters too, right? Because I had a kid call him a monkey. And so it's like, now I have to teach him how to like get a quick comeback, right? Defend yourself. But then it's like, he defends himself and it's like, everyone's scared of him. And, you know, and so I have to go up to the school and I have to not be the angry black mother, but I also have to be assertive and let them know that I'm advocating for my son too. So it's just, it's really layered. It's really and truly layered.
Your experience kind of reminds me of the experience that my mother had with my brother. He was never diagnosed with ADHD, but you know, there were signs. He also had a very quick temper. So like that recipe was kind of like, it was always like something like his whole public school experience was like, it was always something, right? And I think that played a part in, you know, those two things, you know, played a big role in it. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying, because I watched my mother kind of like navigate it.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's everybody's different. Just the same way you said, like with me growing up with siblings too, like my biggest thing was embarrassment. So listen, if you're going to embarrass me, I get straight back. You know, I was one of them bad kids up until 6th grade. And it got to a point where I got tired of being embarrassed. My mother would pull up to the school, sit in class with me, you know what I'm saying? And that type of embarrassment scared me straight. For my youngest brother, that didn't do anything. It was the physical, my dad, you know, giving them whoopings, everything like that. My brother, it was strictly just disappointment. I didn't want to He was, you know, the emotional kid. He didn't want to disappoint my mom. Once, you know, she got mad, he got to cry. So every kid's different. You know what I'm saying? So just I get it, but it's I guess it is no right or wrong answer on discipline. But like you said, Ad, it's you know, everybody can take a little bit, you know, out of the actual process they do take. Because man, like I said, it was for me, it was just the sheer embarrassment. My brother, it was the letdown of my parents, and then my baby brother, it was the physical. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, Jess, I will say it'll get better. It'll get better with time. You know, a lot of that, and you know, I'm sure your son is, you know, legitimately diagnosed. But you know, even when I was a kid, my mother, they were going back and forth with the actual school saying, you know, I might have had something. They wanted to put me on medicine and stuff like that. When in all actuality, I was just being a boy. You know what I'm saying? I had energy. You didn't know how to channel it. Simple as that. You know what I mean? So I promise it'll get better. It'll.
So
because the school systems aren't. I'm sorry, Chaz. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead. You got it. You got it.
The school systems is just it's not set up for him or for children like him, because it's like academically he is excelling, right? But then because of his behavior and his inability to sit still, he's not getting the academic piece, right? And so it's like he's too smart to go to a certain special classroom, but then he's also moving too much and doing too much and misbehaving so much that he can't even sit in a regular classroom. So he spends most of the time in the principal's office, or he spends most of his time in, you know, detention. And so it's like, how does that work for him? Like, how does he benefit from that? Because again, I don't want somebody else's kid to lose out on their education because of my child, right? Because they're constantly being interrupted. And they're like, can you stop talking? Can you stop moving? Can you stop tapping? And it's like, he can't help it. He has to tap in order to calm himself down. But the other kids are distracted. And so I feel bad for both. Like, of course, my kid first, but also another child. I'm like, I want them to coexist, and they can't. And so he'll get put out, and then he'll feel embarrassed because he's like, everyone's watching me get put out, but they get to stay in the classroom. And so it's like, it's just not built. If your child is not on the straight and narrow, from my experience, they suffer. And so I'm constantly having to do, you know, homework or have mentors or tutors. And I'm constantly having to do everything at home because he's not getting it in school, because he spends most of his time out of the classroom.
Question: is he getting it at home though?
What?
Like you said, you know, the tutors, and you said you have to constantly get it at the reinforcement at home. So the home piece works though?
Because as far as schoolwork, yeah, like he'll sit one by one. He'll sit one-on-one with me, and like he'll do it. He'll get it. It'll everything, but that's not reality, right? Like you got one teacher to 36 kids or 20 kids. So when he get to school, it's like it's free fall.
So I mean, to me, it just sounds like, you know, and I feel you. It's the gift and the curse is. It sounds like really he's and a lot of children in this generation really like you said, they outgrown the systems that was placed for us years ago. They just did, right? So when we talk about aggression, it's psychology now, right? Because all it is, aggression is just another term for masculine energy. So now the goal is, how do I channel that masculine energy into something that's worth building? Because if you can do that, that's what creates, you know, building businesses, protecting families, changing communities, if we channel it the right way. So it sounds like, even you said white school, the first thing I'm thinking, like, do he know why he was called Monkey? Do he know, for the lack of better terms, he's behind enemy lines, right? So now I'm breaking down, listen, bro, this is what you're really dealing with. But it sounds like really if you say he's smart, he's outgrown the system, and now we have to really figure out, and it's not just on you, I'm just talking how to get creative with these babies now, because I think I said it in the last episode, the times we in now, these children was made for these times we in, and the stuff we grew up in, they outgrown it. I'm just seeing it working with children. And the struggle is now as adults, we still in the twilight of, as millennials, of the old world and trying to usher in this new world. And our babies is ready for the new world. And that's becoming a conflict now. So how do we as parents and as adults be creative enough to channel their new world energy they have in the right direction? Because they rebelling with what was going on for what we had to deal with, for sure. So you got it's a silver lining for you, because it sounds like you got one it's just too big for what this world got for them, and we have to figure out how to place them in the right space right now. You know,
I received that and that's where it is, because maybe I haven't looked deep enough, but I don't find support groups for stuff like this. Like if I do, it's like white women, you know, and I sign up for those and I sit in those workshops and stuff like that. But I'm like, I haven't found any Black women who come together and it's like, my son is dealing with the same thing. Let's work together to figure out how we can help or what we can build. And my mother always is like, well, won't you create it? And I'm like, whoa, I don't know about that.
There you go. I was about to say that.
But
because
it's needed. It's needed. I don't know if people are like scared to have the conversation, or like they don't, you know, I don't know. Because it took a lot for me to even sit here right now and talk about my kid, be this vulnerable, shed a tear, and even right now just hold the tear back. It's like I get how difficult it is to acknowledge that your child is struggling, but I feel like because I isolated myself and I stayed so silent about it, I suffered longer than I needed to.
Yes.
And he suffered longer than he needed to.
We here for you. I know Ab for sure. I'm a resource. You know, you definitely can reach out to me. I'm definitely a resource as far as, you know, I work with young men, and we bring them around other men, right? And, you know, if it's a study group or just doing community things, because I really do understand. But you may have to be, as far as moms, the trailblazer or the spearhead that idea. And then when people keep watching this, it's going to catch on. But you have resources now. Like if you sit with Ab or me or whatnot, let's build this out. And you won't be alone in this. But like you said, it's needed, especially for boys. Because I have sons and I'm seeing the stuff. It's like, all right, I got to take on and build an infrastructure for them, because this world, they outgrown it. And it's upon us now to build that infrastructure for them. And that's probably what God made for you to do, you know, for sure.
Wow.
You hear that, right, Jess?
I hear it. I receive it.
Okay, good. All right, so before I'm gonna let y'all have y'all night back. Give me a second. My lights went out. I've been sitting still too long. They're trying to kick me out of the building. But before we get out of here, there's a few more things that just came to my mind. So like, one, right? Always remember, like, you are the first example of what a woman is to your son, right? So like, whatever you want him to understand about women, he's gonna see that in you. That's one thing, right? Of course, other things will like tweak that view, his own personal experiences, but you're the first one, right? So keep that in mind. Also, you have to create like a little bit of friction, meaning like you can't make shit so easy for him where there's no reason for him, there's no challenge there, right? Like it can't be so sweet where there's not even a little bit of rigor. It got to be a little. He has to be challenged a little bit, right? Even if it's situations where like he thought he wanted to do something, he talked to you about it, you let him do it, and now he wants to quit. You can't quit. I'm sorry, you can't quit. All right, you got to stick this, right? You have to stick it through, and there's a lesson in it, even if it's uncomfortable, right? I had when I was with my in a previous situation. Her son we put him in football. He hated football, hated it. He hated every practice. He hated everything about it. But he had to finish the season. You got to finish the season, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you got to finish the season. He would pick him up every day. He in the car on the way home complaining, I hate this. Why am I out here? Sorry, bro. You started it. You got to finish it, right? Because that's going to teach him like everything ain't going to be sweet. It's not going to be sweet the whole ride. Like, I'm just not. And the sooner they understand that, like, there's going to be friction, but seeing it through, right? It holds him accountable to what he said he's going to do. It holds him accountable, especially if it's a team sport, to the people around him. Like, it just they need to be held accountable for something. Team sports is probably the easiest way to do that, but there's plenty other ways to do it. So those are the two things that, that are on top of my mind. Gentlemen, if y'all have anything I can add, and ladies as well, if y'all want to say anything, and then I'll give y'all night back.
Yeah, no, I do agree with the actual responsibility. But Jess, I do want to add as well, not to go back,
No,
on the topic, but how do you determine what the difference is? Because I know, like I said, growing up that early elementary school age, when they were having meetings with my parents about possibly putting me on medicine, trying to diagnose me with that. As I got older, it kind of subsided. So I guess, what were your signs that you were seeing, or how did they go about obviously acknowledging that that your son, I guess, is under that condition?
So the biggest one was he'll come into the classroom, right? And he is ready to go, book out. And then he starts to write. And then 10 minutes into that and then it's getting up, or it's talking, or it's like just, it's very fidgety. And when you try to redirect him, then it gets into, but why? And so he challenges the teacher. And then after the challenge comes the meltdown. And then after the meltdown, it comes the running. And so it's like every single day, it was just a constant having to keep pulling him back. And it was always like physical things that he would do when they started to notice it, right? It's like he can tell you everything that you're telling him. He can give you the answers. He can do everything. He just don't want to write it. He wants to say it, or he wants to draw it. But when it's time to actually physically sit down and actually do the work, he is unable to. Like, we cannot get him to do that. And I even noticed it at home too. Like, I noticed that I have to either like cut everything off, and I'm just like, we have to be quiet for like 5 minutes. Because I noticed, like, from the time that he wakes up and to the time we get in the car, he's just like going like doom, doom, and it overwhelms me sometimes. And I'm just like, whoa, let's bring it down. And so the signs were, he wants to do it. He tries his hardest to do it, but he just physically cannot sit still long enough to do it. And I don't think that medicine is the answer. And so I'm just trying to find out all of the different things.
That's what I was getting to, basically. I just would hope that would be the last resort. You know what I'm saying? And for reasons I'm sure why as well. But as an educator, like, how would you go about, if that was the situation, how would you necessarily go about handling that?
So I feel like each case, again, like is case by case, right? Like, every student is different. Every student needs, and Lauren can attest to this, every student needs something different. So you got to be like particular about that specific student. I think one thing that helps is like building a rapport with kids, right? Like, knowing who your kid is, who this kid is the most, I think, important part. So like, you can't get into a room full of kids, they don't know you, you don't know them, and you just now giving them nothing but directions. It's kind of like, once you build a rapport, though, you can get a lot of shit done that other people can't get done once there's a relationship there. So I think that might be a part of it, like, having teachers that want to foster a relationship with him, right? That's a major hurdle. That we can figure that part out. But also just like putting systems in place to make it so there's not a lot of steps that he has to take. If that makes any sense. Like, making it as easy a transition as possible. Like, I have a kid who is in one of my classes, he's just like walking around the room, right? Like, I've looked at his paperwork. I don't think he is been diagnosed with anything. But all his teachers say the same thing. So I gave him a job. right? I gave him a job. I gave him tasks that he has to complete. I kind of like turned it into a game where he can win points for doing this or doing that.
Yep.
He can get like small rewards. And it's been working, right? It's been working. I'm going to keep doing it. You know, he seems more engaged. He stays in his seat a little longer. But sometimes he needs a break, right? And I'll give him a break. But I think like you just gotta tweak it and figure out like what that method is going to be.
Yeah.
It'll get
Can
better. It'll get better.
Can I say so? I have an example of that too. So I have, I help out with the school. So I have, this is a 13-year-old boy, right? He's 13. His first year coming from a public school. And he's learning on a first grade level and they diagnosed him with ADHD. But I learned what's working with him is kind of what Ab just said. So I do what I make them do, move, build, and then compete. So he's learning. So like I'm an entrepreneur, right? So I give him maybe, okay, today you're my store manager. Like I'm making him engaged by using his brain to wear it down. He's not sitting still, but he's still getting the concepts. So but he's focused. So I'm like, yeah, you say the ADHD, but he's focused. So he don't have a problem focusing. He may be bored sitting for 6 hours doing this problem on the worksheet, but he don't have an issue focusing. So I did, like you said, Ab said, games with him that he can learn. Like the other day, he was my store manager, and I needed him to go to the other teachers in the building and the other students and just ask them, what do your community need for, I could tell my owner to put in the store, just something creative. And he was on it. And then I made him draw what he wanted in the store. He did it, no problem. And this is a 13-year-old boy who learned on a first grade level. So it's just now we just have to really, I'm like Ab said, I'm really building an infrastructure to where I know where he will focus at. And I'm just sneaking in education and what he needs to learn in that at the same time. And that's been working so far. And like his mom today said, man, she's so thankful. She cried too. And that hit me. She's so thankful she did this. And she didn't know how bad it was or her household was until, she came, So, I mean, it's just, we got to get creative. That's it. And it's psychology. And it's a lot of work, but it's psychology for real.
The schools are behind. The schools are so behind.
Yeah,
Laura, what's your experiences in that regard?
Definitely what you both were saying as far as like building relationships is super important, getting to know their interests, and then channeling moms, dads, and like, hey, what works at home, what doesn't work at home. As soon as they come in the door, how you doing? Making eye contact, like, where you at today? What's your zone? You blue, you green, like how you feeling? Just so you can kind of go throughout the day and kind of check in, like, okay, like all the time I'm checking in. I'm all like, how you doing? What how we feeling? Do you need a break? Do we need to go get some water? Hey, go take this somewhere. If I see them getting fidgety. So you just have to be very vigilant of those students who need, who need extra. And it's okay. I enjoy it. But it's just you have to want, the teacher has to like be involved and engaged. And if they're not, then
That part.
Yeah, it becomes a problem.
It ain't all the kid, but I would definitely say it takes a lot of like communication with the child, with the parent. Definitely, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So I'm gonna leave. We can head out. If y'all got anything to say, any last words before we close out? All right, so I do want to say that I do appreciate all y'all time and being honest and open about this dialogue. There's been people joining watching the video and checking in and checking out. So I do appreciate that. It means a lot. This is going to help somebody, right? If it's not somebody in the room, it's going to help somebody who watches it one day. So we've done a service in that regard. Just make sure, like, keep this in mind, like, you are doing a good job, right? Like, you're doing a good job. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're providing your son with love. You're providing him with, the care that he needs. You're providing him with, a comfortable life. So you're doing enough.
Mhm.
You are doing enough. Okay. So I don't want y'all to if anybody out there is second guessing themselves, chances are you're doing what needs to be done and beyond, right? Going above and beyond the Call of Duty. So you deserve a pat on the back for that, right? But just keep in mind, there are people who are willing to assist, what I'm saying, if they can, to lend the ear, to have a conversation, you know what I mean? These people do exist, right? My goal is to kind of connect those people together, right? So that's what this platform is about, trying to rebuild this thing that we've broken over all of these years, right? It wasn't all broken, but we can do something to kind of bring it back together. So that's what this platform is about. And I hope that, somebody has been helped by these conversations.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all. And give yourselves a round of applause. Episode 4 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your night. We out of here.
All right, y'all.
Thank you guys so much.